A message of peace in honor of John Lennon. John Lennon is still important to today's culture, 79 years after his birth on October 9, 1940. Lennon, who most people associate with hippies, used his music to spread progressive and uplifting themes at an era of global fame and conflict. Lennon's love of music was sparked by his relationships with his mother. He was born to Julia and Alfred Lennon in Liverpool, England, into a troubled household with a frequently absent father and a mother who visited him while he lived with his aunt. Julia taught Elvis how to play the banjo and would frequently play Elvis records. His lack of parents is largely to blame for his nonconformity. "I would get into the heads of the other boys," Lennon said. "I could say, parents are not gods because I don't live with mine and, therefore, I know," in September 1980, 3 months before he was killed. His message of world peace in Imagine is still relevant today. He was a couple decades too early to revolutionize music and try to revolutionize people's mentality. However, the unity Lennon refers to is essential to the world as it is right now, a world where a US president plays around with his words without considering the consequences, a world where Great Britain is leaving a continental organization that unites the nations, a world where coordinated action is required to stop the rapid destruction of nature that we have allowed to continue. Lennon is frequently called a hypocrite for preaching peace, but then abusing and abandoning his family from his first marriage to Cynthia Powell. Julian, his son, has spoken out about the desertion, lack of a relationship, and goods left in the will. This contrasts with Lennon's public and deceitful accounts of his relationship with his first son. A few months before he passed away, Lennon declared, "I don't love Julian any less as a child." Whether he originated from a bottle of whiskey or because there weren't any medicines back then, he is still my son. He's here, he's my property, and he always will be. He closed by expressing that he and Julian will get together in the future. This may be a sign of his transformation as a result of his second wife, Yoko Ono, who forced him to question his misogynistic views on women for the first time. Despite these statements, he never worked to mend his relationship with his son or seek reconciliation with his family. Regrettably, he was prevented from doing so since he passed away on December 8, 1980, 40 years and a few months after his birth. But in the end, these encounters fueled his activity. Although he organized activities like the Bed-In for Peace in 1969 and the Britain Murdered Hannity Banner March that same year, music was his primary form of expression. He demonstrated his sympathy for the working class by joining their protest. When President Nixon tried to have John Lennon deported in 1972 to 1973, this may have been his most well-known period of American activism. Nixon was convinced that John Lennon's anti-war remarks and concert held in conjunction with the Republican National Convention would prevent him from being re-elected. His enormous success, his personal setbacks, his proud advocacy, and his aspirations for world peace throughout his life have all taught us how to respect others. Lennon stated in 1980, "A part of me would like to be accepted by all aspects of society and not be this loudmouthed mad poet/musician. But I can't pretend to be something I'm not." Let that be the message in a world that is going backwards. Let there be peace, we cannot tolerate conflict.